you've mentioned your father.
Yeah.
And this year is the 60th celebration of his remarkable achievement of not only winning the Formula One World Championship, which he'd already won twice before,
Yeah.
and then to win it in a car of his own making as well. Can you tell us when you first had the idea as to when you wanted to celebrate or what ideas came up?
I guess we obviously knew the anniversaries were going to be coming up. And when I say anniversaries, it's your centenary year as well. So I would say that working on this has been about an 18-month project.
Yeah.
So went to Melbourne and chatted with the Australian Grand Prix Corporation and said, look, this is what's coming up. Be great to do something. And, the wheels start moving, and then, you're chatting to the historic guys in Australia to see if we can bring a collection of old cars together. And Repco, who were obviously a fantastic partner in the day, we built the engines, the Repco Brabham BT19.
They've been really supportive.
Oh, hugely supportive. Yeah. They own the car. They own that car, the BT19. So that normally stays with them in the foyer, and then when it comes out for events and things like that, and you walk into Repco and you've got the Brabham meeting room, you've got Monza room, you've got the culture is very much around the history, which was very cool. So they've been really supportive. And then, of course, I think the one that popped in that wasn't planned from our side was the plane. Where, this...
So, yes,
I don't know if people
ask you about that.
Saw it. When I got the phone call to say, hey, my name's Steve Paget. I'm from Alliance Airlines. It's the second biggest airline in Australia. We want to paint a full aircraft, jet airplane, as a tribute to your father, you know what I mean? And it was nuts, absolutely nuts. So when that obviously we were told to shut up about it.
Yeah.
We'd known about it for a while. It was being painted in Costa Rica.
Yeah.
And of course, as soon as it flew out of Costa Rica, all the plane spotters spotted it.
I remember you messaging.
And it was a bit like trying to hide an elephant in a room, you know what I mean? It's like, well, we must be quiet,
Yeah.
Then it flew off, and then all of a sudden it was on the internet, wasn't it? So, and then they had it filmed coming into Brisbane Airport,
gorgeous.
Which was, as you've seen the footage, which was very cool. But
Jack, our senior designer, managed to find it online.
Yeah. Well, I didn't even know. I know. Yeah.
I remember you coming into the office, and we got it up on our big projector wall screen. And just seeing it coming off the horizon and landing.
Yeah.
I mean, did you manage to see it in person, or was it just
No,
Sam?
I'm not. Yeah. No, I still haven't seen it.
Oh, wow.
No, my son Sam went up to Rockhampton where it was based, and they brought it out, and the sun was coming up, and they had the Repco Brabham BT19 next to it. Yeah. Took all these amazing photographs, and he FaceTimed us when it was coming out of the hangar, and it was dark, and it was quite emotional. But I do hope one day it's going to be painted for 4 years, so that's its cycle for being redone on the paint scheme. So hopefully when I get to Australia again and I'm flying somewhere, I've got to make sure I'm on Alliance Airways and try and get on one of these planes that actually has
that is amazing, right?
Yeah.
Well, in true celebration to Sir Jack, I feel like we've got a marching band now all of a sudden.
Yes, I know, it does. Yeah.
But no, I think it was, for us, I remember you coming to us and saying to us, the plane, we got a plane, but don't say anything.
Yeah, I know.
And then, of course, you sent us the messages going, it's been seen and everything, don't say anything still. So it was really hard for us as well, because the excitement was just building, seeing it in gold, and then seeing the logo.
We were probably the last to mention it, because we were still told, hold off. Because obviously Repco, I brought Repco in to have a conversation with Alliance, and they ended up doing a lot of stuff together, and of course bringing the BT19 for the photographs, and they wanted to do the press release, and they wanted to do the official things, but the cat was already out, out of the
In
bag.
some ways, as part of marketing build-up, that's not a bad thing as well, because it creates a little bit of hype.
Yeah, it did. Well,
a little
it
bit
certainly
before.
did that,
And then, of course, when the main brand then goes, here it is, it becomes the formality, the final, this is it, and then everything explodes out from that.
Well, when I went to Australia, it was everywhere I went, oh, that plane.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was
awesome.
Yeah, it was
awesome.
A kind of halo project that got a lot of attention, which was the start of the 60th anniversary celebrations, really.
It was, because just going back to when you came to us about looking at the logo.
Logos,
yeah. You're right. We did
100th and
60th. You're right.
Yeah.
I'd almost forgotten about that.
Yeah.
We'd done the 100 for the centenary.
Yeah.
And then I think it might have been a month afterwards you came to us and then said, can you do 60 as well? We were dead excited about it. And I remember asking you, saying, so when's it going out? And you were like, not for another year or so.
Yeah.
Let's go. So I think that was exciting, and also like holding on to that was quite, but it gave us the opportunity to start preparing, right? And I think going forward, it was great.
Yeah, I mean, there was so much going on behind the scenes that, we had to be as prepared as possible. Sort of, you learn by your mistakes. So we got in early this time to sort of say, right, let's plan this. It was great because, the logos were used on buildings in Australia, down at the Australian Grand Prix. They were used on the footage of Dad's racing and so forth on the TV screens around the track. And then up come the logo, went into the Brabham suite. There it is on the front as you walk in and on the desk.
Yes.
So the Australian Grand Prix Corporation got really behind it, which was fantastic.
That's brilliant. So how was it when you arrived at Australian Grand Prix? Because I know we spoke about certain activities that were going to happen prior to it. Seeing it finally unveiled, how was that for you emotionally, personally? Business-wise as well,
it was great to see it all come to life. You know what I mean? But in a very clear, concise way.
Yes.
As well, which is on brand as well. So that was really cool. And of course, we had the Hall of Fame event where my father's car, the BT19, was inducted into the Motorsport Hall of Fame as the 100th inductee on his centenary year. I mean, it's just nuts. You couldn't see how this thing came together in the way it has with the timing of everything.
Yes.
It was kind of meant to be in a way,
But you drove that, and I say that, obviously, using a pun there, but I mean, obviously, but I think that whole drive towards making sure that it always appears quite seamless in the end.
Oh yeah, I mean, it always does. It's a bit like this event here at the Scramble. All looks quite seamless, but in the background there's going to be chaos.
It is a tremendous occasion having Scramble. But I think to your point earlier about your podcast with the people behind the scenes, there's so much that goes on.
Oh yeah.
So much that then goes out. It looks like it's just no effort at all. But
and the amount of time that takes, and then
absolutely.
Of course when the event happens, it's gone.
Yes. Well, that's
It's
also
a
euphoria.
little section of enjoyment to say we've done it.
Yes.
And then,
It's quite something, I think. But okay, so can you paint us a picture of when you arrived? So great at Australian Grand Prix, you see all the material, you see all the activation that's happening. How was that for you when you saw it? But then also, when you came out onto the stage at the Adelaide Motorsport Festival.
First.
Sorry, you're right, that was first.
Yeah.
So then, and I think the BT19 is the only mechanical item that's been inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, the only car that's been inducted.
That's right.
The Hall of Fame was in Australia, but in Melbourne. Adelaide obviously was the week before, the Adelaide Motorsport Festival. The BT19 was there. That was the first kind of activation in Australia.
Yes.
On stage, obviously talking about it with the car. And unfortunately, because of the weather, I didn't get to drive the car on track.
Oh, what a shame.
Because obviously it's worth $30 million or something. It's the only one in the world that's ever done what it's done. So it's worth a hell of a lot of money, which we're still pissed off with my dad for selling it back in 1978 for $10,000.
Is that right? That's a long time to
no,
be pissed
don't.
off, right?
It's a long time to be angry, isn't it? But, it's still there. My older brother, he's even more upset by it. So
if only we could look into the future.
I know. But to be fair, they have looked after it. It's immaculate.
I mean, it
immaculate.
looks.
I have driven it, and it feels like brand new. And of course, Sam got the opportunity to drive it literally before the start of the
Australian Grand Prix.
Before the start of the Grand Prix to do a lap.
I bet his smile inside of his...
He was crying. He was. Yeah, he was crying. It was quite emotional because the whole, everyone was right behind it. And as he drove off, I mean, we couldn't start it to begin with.
Really?
Yeah, we had to get the guys to run over. Time's ticking on. He had 2 laps to go around the racetrack. Then that became 1 lap because by the time someone came to start it, because he stopped it on the grid, cameras are there, the crowd's all waiting, and built the suspense, and then they finally got it started, and off he went. He got 1 lap in, but on that 1 lap, I've seen the footage and what he was describing. You know, everybody was really behind it, and celebrating what was an amazing Australian achievement.
I mean, I can't think of a more beautiful kind of circle, grandfather, son, and grandson, driving around Australian Grand Prix. I mean, in the caravan, it's an incredible moment. And how was it for you? Because I know you said for Sam there was tears.
I mean, it was hard to hold them back.
I don't want to draw on
it was hard to hold them back. I mean, I'm being interviewed on the grid, and my wife Lisa was there, and Repco were there. And, it was a very proud moment for all of us involved, to be fair, not just me. And it went off really well, and just a shame Oscar Piastri binned it on the warm-up lap.
Yeah, I mean, bless him. I have a big soft spot towards Oscar Piastri. I think he's a tremendous, and carrying on that Australian legacy, I really hope that he comes through.
I was standing next to Mark Webber at the time, and we're both watching, and they show him in the wall, and they cut off the footage, and then they showed accidents from previous events.
Right.
I mean, the timing of that couldn't be more crazy, could it? I mean, and both Mark and I gone, he's in the wall.
Yeah.
And then we saw these other footage, and we're like, you could see this stunned moment going on. And I said, mate, when did he ever hit the wall like that? And he said, he hasn't. And then the footage came to show him. And I'm looking like that, and then I go like this to Mark, he's gone, straight out, like obviously to go and see what's going on. I just said hello to his grandfather and family and stuff, literally 5 minutes before that. Yeah. Introduced myself because I didn't really know them. So we're having a nice old chat. I hope he does really well. Yeah. 5 minutes later, boom, in the wall. It's like, well, that was painful.
Yeah. What is it like as an Australian racing the Australian Grand Prix? Give us a little taster as to what that, because the Australian crowds are so passionate. Yeah. And in all sports, whether it be cricket, rugby, Formula One, does it fill you up with a lot of passion to get going and give more than you would at any other racetrack?
Well, I think, any driver racing their home Grand Prix, it gets an added boost. Yeah. There's no doubt about that. The takeaway memory for me, I guess, was there was a big sign someone had written on this big sheet, like a bed sheet. Literally, and it was like 2 poles pulled down, and it said, kangaroos, meat pies, football, and David Brabham.
Hey.
Which I thought was pretty cool. And I saw it, and I had some mates with me that I grew up with. I said, go over there, get them, and we'll grab them, come, we'll have a chat to them. So I went over there and found them, brought them up to close to where we were, and I went over and had a chat to them.
Oh, that's stuff. Brilliant.
And that was cool.
Obviously that's the advice going forward if you want to meet your heroes.
Yeah, right.
Put your name on a bed sheet. Yeah.
But look, it was I had raced there in Adelaide in 86 and 87. Formula Ford. Yeah. Finished second. And '87 where I went from last to first. In 15 laps.
So is that the infamous with your father?
Yeah, it was.
Because if anyone hasn't heard this story, this is incredible. So can you tell us that, or would you be happy to tell us that?
Has anyone heard this story? No? Okay, how many people have had a very difficult conversation with your parents? Yeah, I had one. And it was, my girlfriend was pregnant. And I had to tell my mum and dad. And finally got the courage to say something. Said it. And immediately my father's gone, your career's now done. He was dead set about that, yeah. We didn't speak for 3 months. Not one word to one another, yeah. I'm in America racing when I had to tell them. And I was doing some Formula Atlantic races over there. Came back to do the F2 race, which was the Australian Gold Star race. So whoever won that won the Australian Gold Star. And we dusted off the F2 car, which I'd raced earlier in the year.
Sure.
So then it was a case of, qualifying went really bad because every time I drove out, it stopped.
Right.
So I didn't get a lap time. I'm dead last. And then my dad's there with my mum literally before the race. And he was wearing an F1 pass that Bernie gave him. And I didn't know, how do you bridge this gap? You know what I mean? He's literally written you off. You've qualified last. And you got a 3 times Formula 1 world champion saying you're done. You know what I mean? And he had this F1 pass, and I said, oh, you better get me one of those for when I'm in F1. And he just said, well, the days of you ever getting to Formula 1 are finished. And that was it. That triggered an emotion inside me. I told him to F off. I walked off. I put my Walkman earphones in.
I remember them.
Yeah, do you remember those? Yeah. Listening to Johnny Farnham.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And my mood changed immediately. And I had so much, not anger, but determination that just filled me up to the point where I just was in a different place that I even knew I existed in that sense. I got in the car, was on the grid. I grabbed the mechanic. I said, you go down there and you tell those guys to get out of my way because I'm coming through. I would never have said that, really. I would have just got in the car and gone. But I was so charged up by it. The old rev limiters like this, internally, before we've even started. Mechanic comes back and I said, what'd they say? Told you to F off. You know what I mean? Right. So I just the red mist, off I went. And I've never driven like it before to that time, and I ended up winning the race. So, I went from 35th to 17th on lap 1. Then I went into the top 10.
Wow.
And I just mowed them down and ended up in the lead with a lap to go and won the race, won the Australian Gold Star, which my dad had never won.
Wow. Okay.
So that was
good.
That was cool.
Yeah.
And I was standing on the podium, and my dad's there, and Ken Tyrrell and Jackie Stewart, who he had got up to the pit wall, halfway through the race to say, "Hey, come and have a look at this," while I'm steaming through through the field, and all of a sudden it was, all right. You're all right then. You know what I mean? As far as he's concerned, that was the thing that triggered, okay, all right, you've proved to me that this is fine. You know what I mean? And then he was very supportive after that. But it took that race to do it, though.
Yeah. Do you know what strikes me about that story is that even though there had been that moment, he was so supportive still, seeing that determination, how much you wanted it, and then driving all the way through. From the end to 17th position after lap one, incredible. He obviously recognized that realized, bringing people in to show them what you're able to do. to still be supporting you, that says a lot about a parent's love and support for their children, but also recognizing your talent as well as a phenomenal racing driver.
Yeah, I think Dad was a tough nut. You know what I mean?
I can imagine.
He grew up in that era. So
yeah.
Even when I started racing go-karts, he was like, I went to America, left school, didn't even think about being a racing driver, knew nothing about it. You know, I grew up on a farm, went to an agricultural boarding school to be a farmer.
Yeah.
So I went to America to watch my brother race, saw a go-kart sitting in a workshop, didn't even know people race go-karts. I was 17, had no idea. And then, so as I went back to Australia, Dad was there, and I said, I want to have a go in a go-kart. His face just went white. It's like, you got to be kidding me. And he was no help whatsoever.
Wow.
So my next door neighbor, who I went to school with, I went over to him. We actually had a little go-kart. We actually made a little go-kart with a frame and tyres and Briggs & Stratton engine in it. We had a hoon of a time, you know what I mean?
Nice.
So we went off to a local go-kart track, Griffith go-kart track, saw the New South Wales country titles going on. It was a big meet.
Yeah.
And that hooked us. It was like, right. So we put our money together, bought a second-hand go-kart, and off we went.
Wow.
So it wasn't until after a while that Dad actually then started to warm up a little bit, saw me race a couple of times, and then sat me down and said, are you serious about this? I said, yeah, I am. So it was only then he said, okay, you're still driving around in a crappy old go-kart, let's get a new one. So then the new one came, and all of a sudden I started winning, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So on a regular basis. So it wasn't like, come on, let's get you in a go-kart at 5.
Yeah.
That didn't happen in my family. Even my brothers wasn't like that at all.
Ah, that's incredible. That's incredible. Now I know this is probably not actually something that I was going to ask you, but I'd love to know what you think your father would make of the 60 celebration.
Oh, he would have been chuffed. There's no doubt about it. Yeah, I mean, with all the support, I mean, there were 50 cars on parade at the Australian Grand Prix. 33 of them were Brabham cars. I've never seen so many Brabham cars in one place. Yeah. It was insane. Wow. And you go down and you hear the people talk about Jack and the way they talk about it. He meant a lot to a lot of people. You know what I mean? He really, really did. He inspired a lot of people of that time to go out of Australia and race or become a mechanic or an engineer, or he was that person that went out there, was successful doing what he did in his way, which inspired the next generation as well.
Yeah. You know? There's been so many great Australians, including yourself, who've gone on and raced under the Australian flag.
Oh, there's been quite a few.
Not many have raced under the world flag like yourself.
No, that's true.
But I think, of course, we notice you're wearing the watch. For those of you who haven't seen it yet, there's a 60 watch, which has been a 60th anniversary watch, which is a tremendous piece of art, as you put it. Do you want to talk it through? Because there's some really lovely bits of detail in it. I mean, apart from the 60 logo, of course, which we love, but there's the steering wheel, there's the it's amazing. I think also Monza racetrack on the back as well.
So this watch, we did a collaboration with Bracing Kane, who's a bespoke watch manufacturer, and they've done collaboration with other sporting people as well. Wayne Rooney being one of them, Conor Ben as well. And we wanted to bring something out that captured the history and the heritage of my father and what he achieved. Yeah. And so we came up with this watch, which, as you say, has a few little interesting things in it. So
beautiful.
You've got the Repco Brabham logo, but that's 18 karat gold on the bottom here, as you can see there.
That's amazing.
That's the identical rev counter on the BT19.
It's absolutely
It's got
stunning.
a carbon face. Brabham were one of the first to bring carbon brakes to F1. It's got the map of Monza on the back, which obviously represents when he was declared world champion in 1966. Obviously, it's got Sir Jack Brabham BT19 on it. And there's only 35 being built as well. So 35 Grand Prix wins that Brabham has had in its history. And obviously Dad won a few of those at the beginning. And so this is a beautiful timepiece which represents this amazing achievement.
I mean, it's phenomenal. And obviously, have a look at the Brabham website. You'll be able to buy it there. Racing cane as well. But I remember when we launched the Brabham.co.uk website, if you remember.
Relaunched it.
Yeah, relaunched
it. Yeah.
And I mean, you came to us and you asked us, well, look, we want to do something that really lifts everything and starts to support. And I remember the day that it launched, when I relaunched the website, and you came in with the watch. It was the very first time that we'd all seen it as a team. It was a beautiful moment. And that was quite something. It's an incredible piece of art.
Yeah, it does. It was stunning. We're very proud of it.
So we've obviously known each other for quite some time. What do you enjoy the most of coming in and working with us, and how we collaborate and how this has been, for you?
We've known each other for a while. You did all our branding when we did the brand Bible.
Of course,
all the branding around what you see today in terms of Brabham. It's all been done there. And then after the automotive project finished, it took a bit to sort of get out of that situation and then sort of regroup a bit. So then it was like we needed to, have a fresh look, I guess. I'm not the most creative person. So we
have some great ideas which have really helped.
Yeah, but when you're with creative people, it does kind of fires off some things that you wouldn't have perhaps in another environment. So, how many times have we been here and talking stuff? A lot. What I mean? So, when you're in a room full of, young, enthusiastic, people, it just brings out great ideas, and then your brain starts to come up and, hey, what about this? What about that? And Lisa and I love coming here and mixing with the group to go, hey, how can we do this better? What can we do next? So yeah, it's great.
It's equally the same for us. I think, we try and involve whoever we're working with as part of everything, because it is a collaboration. And I know that when we've done material together, you'll have some ideas that we hadn't really considered, which actually enhances it as well. So I think it's a real combined relationship. It almost feels like family when you guys come in.
Yeah, right.
So I think it's a great relationship of building something which is, we've seen certainly with the social metrics and the following grow tremendously because of this love for the brand and what you're doing. And so, what is next for Brabham?
Well, we look after drivers. We've got Jessica racing at
You brought
Silverstone.
her in this week, yes.
Yeah, she will be racing soon at Silverstone.
Yes.
So as soon as we're done here, we'll be heading over to watch her race. And we've got a couple of other drivers that we look after as well. Lisa's in charge of the licensing side, so obviously in terms of the watch and kind of a new merchandising range, celebrating the history of Brabham Formula One with Park Agency, Park London and Park Sydney. So we've changed the model of what we would normally do with that, just see how that goes. And that seems, with everything that we're doing, it's all starting to move along. And we've got probably 3 really interesting projects that we're looking at the moment. Whether they come off, we'll have to see, but we've been approached to be involved in some pretty cool things. So watch this space, I think.
Brabham's exploding out with even more, and it's engaging. And the engagement with fans has just been tremendous. And I know that you have a particular great following in Brazil.
Yeah.
Obviously,
amazing.
with PK and everything, and tremendous. And obviously the achievements from other drivers as well. But Brazil was a huge. We were quite surprised about that, and obviously pleased to see.
Brazil, obviously with PK and. Obviously, it's a Formula One mad place as well. Massive. But in terms of Brabham and PK, there's still a lot of people down there that remember that and see that as great times. So part of our job is to as a business is obviously to create all these things, because we also have to protect the Brabham name. You know, I spent 7 years in the German courts getting the name back.
Unbelievable.
And then you got to get hold of those trademarks, and then you got to add to those trademarks. And trademarks cost money, but you got to activate trademarks to maintain them.
Yes.
So we, as a business, we have to make sure we do all these different things like watches and clothing and things like that to go into the market. So we can show and demonstrate that we're actually activating what we're trying to protect.
Yeah.
And that's a costly exercise. It's not a cheap thing to do.
No. But what it does do is engage and gives opportunities for fans to engage because they can
we have to be proactive.
Of course. And I think it's brilliant that you're doing so much. I'm really excited about these new projects that you're working on and seeing them come together.
Hopefully.
Well, no, we're going to see. We'll see. What's next in terms of where will people see you next? Are you doing anything else?
Well, I'm racing in GT Cup.
Amazing.
Last couple of weekends ago, we won the GTO class in a Mercedes GT3.
Yeah.
Did Goodwood members meeting, obviously.
That video where all the bikes coming down.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing.
I mean, that was nuts. I mean, it's nearly 600,000 views or something stupid. I mean,
but also you were really close to those bikes as well. And
it's always a great spectacle when the bikes go through Goodwood House.
Yes.
With these paintings, like the paintings. I don't know if you've ever been in there. The paintings in there, you walk and you go, how much is that worth? How much is that worth? Oh, that's probably worth about 10 million. You know what I mean? And you've got two of them on either side, and you've got all the people. We're all dressed up in our tux. We get told to get parted away, and luckily I was right on the edge of it when all the bikes came through.
I felt like I could smell the fumes.
It was. Everybody was going.
Yeah.
Smell that castrol, you know what I mean? It was brilliant.
Fantastic.
It was really cool.
But you're back at Goodwood later on.
Yeah, back at Goodwood at the end of the year with the revival. They're doing a big celebration of my father, and they're bringing loads of cars together. So that's another one.
Yeah.
Alton Park Gold Cup doing another celebration as well.
Incredible.
And obviously I'm president of the Historic Grand Prix Cars Association, so I'll be heading to a couple of those races through the year as well, supporting that. It's a busy year.
You have been very busy. Do you get time to sit down and just take time for yourself?
Oh, sometimes, but too much to do.
Is this the most you've sat down today?
Probably, yeah.
David, thank you. I think for us, we also just want to thank you very much. It's been absolutely brilliant. I think it's also important to also thank those that have been involved in making this podcast live and be a possibility.
Absolutely.
We want to thank neomec.com.au. They're an Australian company. Managed to find an Australian company with an Australian driver. And I think they do everything. Motorsport,
3D
air,
printing.
3D printing, everything. You know, so I think they're the only, is it right, Jack? The only 3D specialist printing in South Australia?
They're the only ones that can do 3D composites.
3D composites, that's it, in South Australia. Right. So massive thank you to them. Also to Source One Consulting, who are here today. We're really, really happy to have Patrick. Patrick, thank you so much for coming today. Also want to shout out to Monty's Burgers in Bicester. They provided an incredible breakfast this morning.
Great brekkie.
Unbelievable. We can absolutely recommend Monty's breakfast. Bacon, egg, and cheese with hash browns, burgers, absolutely incredible. Also, Life Beyond Words as well, thank you very much. And hope for tomorrow. So just want to say thank you very much to everyone. And David, I know that coming today, spending time here has taken out of your incredibly busy schedule. So thank you so much for giving some insight
thank you for having me.
For the fans, everything. It's been absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, no, it's great to see people here enjoying it. Bit of a new experience from the podcast point of view.
Did you enjoy it?
I did enjoy it. And it was great to catch up with Viv and Peter and catch up on old times and hear their stories as well. And then, that's the first of hopefully many. So.
Cannot Cannot wait.
Sure.
Thank you very much, David.
Thanks, mate.
All the best.
Cheers.
Thank you, everyone.